He came up in my related searches, and I watched his video, and he must have watched mine too, because we got in contact that way.
Yep. And that was Jeff. What was that?
February.
2 years ago, I think.
It's gotta be February because it was cold. I would never metal detect a cemetery, even though you can. Did you know that? Cemeteries.
I would be the same way you're talking. I wouldn't. No, that sounds evil.
And in some countries, it's even more evil to do that, but really is an ethical thing.
As a matter of fact, some troll went after you, and I went after him.
Oh, yeah, it was you who did that. That was like early in the videos, because I'm like, I'm not metal detecting the cemetery. I'm walking through the cemetery to get to the property.
She was off the cemetery property, and some troll came up and started ragging her out, and once again NT8 steps up and says, "You need to shut the hell up."
And that was you, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that was really before I could place people in locations. But I was good about it. I said, it wasn't the cemetery property.
I know, and then he spouted shit back, and
I have to admit that after that one, I did take off one of the videos of the cemetery, or put it on private, and it was the one that, by the way, those chairs on the front porch are the chairs I hauled up that day, fell down. I didn't put it on video, but I peed my pants, because, I fell all the way down. I went from tree to tree down this frozen slope, and had a bottle in my hand, lost the bottle somewhere along the line, and I was wanting that bottle so bad that I went back the next day and left my purse at one of the gravestones. So I videotaped it all the way back.
Was it still there?
Yeah!
Yay!
It was, but then I couldn't resist going back down and seeing if I couldn't find that bottle. I found it, and it was broken, but I found the bottle. And of course I slipped and fell again. I took that video off, and I think the reason why I did, well, it was after that troll kind of got on my butt about it, is because, I don't want, it's not that I care, but I don't want people to feel that it's about invading privacies, because they don't want to watch the whole video to see that I have narrated properly that it was appropriate property. It's neighbors. I live out there. I lived out there. It was my neighbor's property. It surrounded the cemetery. And even though the cemetery, you can metal detect, there's no laws against it, I went through and gave the dead their proper...
But it is private property.
City.
So, okay.
It's city property. Some of it could be on private property, depending on where it's located.
Well, like if you go to Omaha and it's Lawncrest or Prospect Hill.
City property.
All of them are.
Well, the majority of them are city. This is the thing about city property and cemeteries. One in Iowa is different than Nebraska. Nebraska requires, even on city property, that you get a property or a permission, and it might cost you $10 or something really small, just because they want to know what your interest is. They want to see if
But do you have to share, if you were to get one of those, do you have to share your fines?
No. This is the thing.
See, this is a major discussion with the metal detectors that I've noticed, and I think that's good to bring out.
And I could be wrong in many of my sayings, but so I'm just going to say this is what I understand. Just like anything, if it's a private property, it's best just to get permission and some kind of signed statement that says finders keepers, and that if you fall or you hurt yourself, that you're liable.
Right.
And I have those forms. You can download them off the internet and kind of toggle it to your needs. But if it's city property and there is no, no prohibitions or whatever you call them, There's certain things that you have to claim if it's valued over a certain amount.
Ah, okay.
Because it's considered taxable income. Even if it's on your own property. If you find something like what happened in California, that big hoard of gold coins uncirculated, they had to pay taxes on it. And which was a lot of money.
That's some bullshit there.
Okay, so it's just because, so it's not that they're going to take it away from you because it's somebody else's that's on your own property. But if it's on city property, same thing applies. If it's over a certain amount, you have to record it. And if it is...
So then it's federally taxed, state taxed, city taxed.
It's taxable, that's all I know. But I could do some more research.
So they have to
find some
basically they're gonna file a 1099 on it.
Well, I don't know if it's called a 1099 in that case, but right here, I'm gonna put some more information about it so that we're all clear and that we didn't miscommunicate something just over the chat of beer. Now, let's go back to city property, and if you find something, generally what you see is if you find something like a gold ring and there's some kind of emblems on it and you can find the owner.
Say a high school class ring. I think that's a really good example.
Yes, sometimes you may be required to try to find the owner before you can keep it.
Would that mean that you would have to turn it into the police department? Like if you found...
Possibly.
Cash, and then they're gonna hold it for 30 days, and if nobody claims it...
It depends on if there's a monogram on it. If it's just cash and there's no wallet ID or anything like that, no. Unless it looks like a bankroll or something. I mean, there's common sense in everything you do.
Yeah, it says U.S. Bank on the bag.
Yes, and that you didn't get it off eBay that said U.S. Bank and some kind of collaboration of coins just to sell on eBay. Now this is serious. If you find something like Jesse James' treasure,
right?
You found it on private property that you got permission to do. Regardless, you still have to at a certain point report it and maybe pay taxes on it. And you may have to, regardless of what agreement you had with the homeowner and the landowner, you still they might still sue you for that. There's so many ins and outs of it. And that's probably why I think people plant, because there's YouTube videos that some trolls say, hey, no, that's not the case. You didn't find that. That wasn't there. It doesn't look old enough. The bottles should have a gleam on it, or maybe some what I call fairy dust if it was really under the ground that long, and you just now demonstrated pulling out a bottle that's clear and clean. So no, you planted it. I think that's true. Some people do plant those things because they found it on a conspicuous property. Maybe they didn't have permission. Maybe they didn't want to have to pay, so they put it on their own property and buried it, and a year later dug it up so it looked like it. Yeah, those things happen because we, as metal detectorists, it's hard work. You ruin your knees, you're out and you spend your arms and legs and whatever you expose to the elements, and there's just so many things that we think, well, that should be ours. If we got permission, we should be able to get it. If it's public property, the parks, we should be able to do it. But there's laws against it, and each state has its own laws, so you have to be up on your laws so that you don't say, I didn't know that. And now I can't necessarily say I didn't know something, but I can admit I should have done it but didn't do it. And I might delay asking for permission, but I usually always do, and I do sleep at night with a guilty conscience.
Wait a minute, you're not allowed to sleep. Oh, wait a minute, you're
you
not
know,
a motovlogger.
I used to not sleep, but
you're
now
not a motovlogger.
Now
so
I'm in a relationship that I do sleep in because I'd rather. I used to say I'd rather be metal detecting, and now I can't say that.
She said metal detecting. She's had a beer. I think you need to bring your gear out, and we need to go through your gear, and then wherever you want to go do some, I'm set up. I've got plenty of other cameras, and
okay, we can
we'll
do
give
that.
it a go.
One of the things that I want to do first, because like I said, I don't have my AT Pro with me because Suzanne's got it.
Okay.
I have the Infinium, and there's a difference between pulse.
That's all right.
Everything is by pulse. It's a little harder to demonstrate than the AT Pro, but when I show you what I did last weekend, you might not have enough camera memory after that. So that's why we have to go inside, so that you can see what happened.
I don't know, I've got 6 cameras in here. And each of them have 64 gig
That's my kind of guy. All right, well, let's, do you want to take a cigarette break before we go in?
Doesn't matter to me.
You do.
I gotta pee.
Okay, well, you have to close your eyes going into the kitchen then, because what I did last weekend is on the counter.
I'll go right up there against the wall.
Well, just go in the house.
I'm a biker. It doesn't matter to me.
You know, and that's the thing about men and women.
But I don't want to embarrass you by...
Well, you won't embarrass me. I'm going to tell you that. But I will also say that women, it's not easy for women to just go and pee in the woods. Although I know that many women must do it. But I hold my pee.
Can't you get one?
I hate that.
Can't you get one of them cups with the nozzle?
I don't know about that, but I picked up something out of the trash today at work that's something about something that I might be able to work it in.
Oh, this part's getting cut out, so don't even go there, you perverts.
That's right, perverts. So,
no. Oh, I'm sorry, preverts. For you British fucks.
This will be one of those videos that come up a couple years later, like the one with the honey.
I'm not going to put that in.
It might have been on mine.
Unless you put it in.
Well, I might put it in.
I don't give a rat's ass whether
well,
you
know
do or
what?
not.
At this age, I don't think I give a rat's ass either. I really don't.
And I apologize.
I think they know that now.
I apologize for my foul mouth.
No, yeah,
can't stand it.
Well, you know.
I drop a few F-bombs.
I can say that I probably might bleep bleep, but I probably won't bleep bleep the sound out. I'll just bleep bleep saying if you don't want to watch it, then don't. Because this is